The Great Taste of Pharloom is a long drawn out wish or side quest that allows you to unlock a special oil that upgrades your weapon to another level, making it that much stronger. I'm going to take you through this entire quest line and where to find the ingredients for this wish. Let's get into it. Now, to even think about beginning this quest line, you need to make your way through the game until you come across the coral chambers, and very quickly you're going to find a room that has a bunch of different tables and seats. Inside of this room, you're going to find this pedestal that is going to have the oil that you're looking for. But of course, you can't just take the oil, that would be too easy. You have to complete the wish for the bug in front of this pedestal, and that is going to be the wish that we're going through, the Great Taste of Pharloom. You have to go throughout the entire game and through several different regions inside the game and find 5 specific ingredients. These all range in wildly different difficulties to actually get these different items, but let's begin with all of them so you can get an idea of where you have to go, because this will take you pretty much half the game to get to every location. Now, the first and by far the easiest is going to be the Mossberry stew. You can get the Mossberry stew by interacting with a druid inside a bone bottom. Make your way to the part of the map that I'm showing you. You'll eventually come across this cave that has this eerie green glow in it. In here, you're going to find a druid that you are actually going to have to complete another side quest first to actually interact with the druid and get the Mossberry stew. That side quest is called berry picking in bone bottom that you find on the wish board when it is created. It's a very simple side quest. It will not take you very long to complete. Once you do that, you can simply just talk to the moss druid once again after you complete the berry picking wish, and they're simply just going to give you the Mossberry stew when you ask. Now, the second easiest item that you need to get is going to be that vintage nectar. You can find this inside of the halfway home inside of Greymoor. All you have to do is go and talk to the owner of the halfway house, and he'll actually sell you this particular vintage for a fair amount of rosaries. And when I say a fair amount of rosaries, I mean 480 rosaries, which is not a small amount, and you're going to have to grind this out unless you have some rosary strings available. Now, there is an additional part to this. After you purchase this particular vintage, you have to go down into the cellar and get it, but stuff occurs down there that I don't want to spoil for you. Just know that there is more to this, but the biggest part of actually unlocking the vintage and getting it, you have to dish out those rosaries. Next item on the list that's going to be fairly easy for you to get after doing a boss fight is going to be inside of Sinner's Row. This is going to be the Pickled Muckmaggot, which just sounds absolutely lovely to grab. You are going to need the double jump ability to even get to this location. Just keep that in mind before you make it to Sinner's Road, and you make your way down into this small room where you see a shaft that you have to double jump into. That brings you into another set of rooms that you are able to unlock. This is of course going to make it easier to get back into this room, because this room is going to have a boss fight inside of it that I'm not going to spoil for you. Just know that you are going to have to fight a boss to get this particular item. Now, once you defeat this boss, it will be an item that drops from them after you have defeated them, and all you have to do is pick it up from the ground. Now, the next item that I'm going to talk about is going to be the Crustnut. You can only get the Crustnut inside of the sands of Karak, and you can only get to the sands of Karak if you go through the blasted steps to this specific area. As you know, the blasted steps are already a little bit of a challenge to get through, and the sands of Karak are even worse. It is filled with a lot of different jumping challenges that are very difficult, but when you get into the sands of Karak region, I want you to follow the path that I'm going to show you, as you have to get into a particular section of the sands of Karak, and as soon as you get here, you are going to have to deal with another set of very difficult jumping puzzles, while there are also spikes everywhere. I highly recommend, if you haven't gone to this particular section that I'm about to show you, that you look through my entire jumping before you do that, so you have an idea of where you need to go, because there are dead ends inside of this small section inside of the sands of Karak, and you can very easily die. Now, of course, inside my video, I've cleared out most of the spikes. That is going to be the biggest challenge, because you can easily jump into them. You can easily knock down some of these other shell-looking monsters that you see me jumping over, and that, of course, is going to add its own set of challenges to get this particular Crustnut ingredient. But what I will tell you is that you are able to create a shortcut back down to the blasted steps that will make this a lot easier to get back to. Instead of going through a major set of the jumping puzzles to get back to the sands of Karak, it's going to be a giant red pillar at the top of the area that you see me jumping into this smaller region, if that makes sense. Just look around the area before going into this section. You'll see a breakable giant pillar. Now, once all that is said and done, and you have made your way through this giant jumping puzzle, you'll find the Crustnut inside of this even larger nut, and that's where you are able to try and make your way back alive. Now, the final ingredient is called the Courier's Rasher, and the only way you're actually able to do this Courier's Rasher challenge is that you have to help out the 2 different couriers inside a Bellhart. There are going to be 2 separate wishes that you have to complete first before you're even able to talk to these 2 guys on your screen. It'll be very obvious which wish you have to do, do, because it's going to be my missing courier for the very first one, and the other one's going to have another one about a missing courier. You just have to complete these two, and these two guys will start showing up inside of Bellhart. Now, these two wishes that you have to do ahead of time are simply a search and rescue mission. I won't spoil those for you. I did cover my missing courier in a different video to give you an idea of what you unlock at this particular shop that I'm talking to the shopkeeper right now, if you want to go and check that out to speed up the process. And once you have completed those two previous wishes, you'll be able to talk to the two couriers just above the shop, and you'll see that you're able to do a delivery of the courier's Rasher. Now, here's the thing. This is by far going to be the most difficult because you are on a time limit, a hit amount, and you have to get this all the way back up to the same location that we started this entire side quest without getting hit too many times and doing it in the time limit that is available to you, as you see from the Rasher on the left side of my screen. Now, the real kicker about this is you can't use any fast travel. You have to do this on foot. If you try to do this with the fast travel, the courier's Rasher will automatically be destroyed, and of course it's going to cause you to fail the mission. Now, don't worry if you do end up actually failing this. You can always go back to the same place in the Bellhart. You can go back and talk to the couriers to restart this. But again, this is very difficult. This is not easy. It took me several attempts using very interesting and very different sets of tools every single time to make sure I do this correctly. What I recommend that you equip is the Silk Speed Anklets, which allows you to run faster by using the silk available to you, and also using the potion that you get from helping out and finding a certain number of lost fleas to the flea caravan. That potion from the flea caravan, as you see in game, speeds up not only your attack power, but of course something we want to really focus on is your running speed. Now, that potion does wear off over time, and of course you're not going to have an unlimited amount of silk inside of your inventory, so you will slow down every now and then. But the main reason that I keep talking over my pathing is to give you an idea of what I did to make it in time to actually complete this mission. But of course, it is entirely up to you if you want to follow the path that I am showing you here. You're welcome to form your own path, but again, you just have to make it in time inside of the time limit shown on the left side of your screen with the Rasher, and without getting hit enough times that the Rasher is going to explode. At this point, I will talk to you again so you can analyze the route that I'm taking once we get to the dining hall. Now once you make it to the dining hall and you have fully completed the Courier's Rasher with everything else in hand, as soon as you speak to this bug, he will automatically start going through the finalization process of this entire quest line that is going to lead you into a small cutscene that I won't spoil for you, so I'm going to skip to the after part, which is definitely something that you're not prepared for. But as soon as you're done with that cutscene, you'll see that the little case is open. You're able to take the oil. Now with the oil, you want to make your way back down to Bellhart. Now if this is the first piece of oil that you're coming across inside the game, you'll want to go and interact with the needlesmith that is going to be inside of Bellhart on the second giant bell. Once you interact with him for the very first time, if you haven't interacted with him whatsoever, you're able to upgrade your needle. Once you do that the first time, he will then need this specific oil that we just went through the Great Taste of Pharloom wish to acquire. Once he does that, he'll be able to upgrade the needle to the next level, whatever that ends up being. For me, this is the second time getting oil, and that additional cost of 500 rosaries is what gets you to the third level of your weapon. But overall, that is how you complete the long and difficult task of the Great Taste of Pharloom wish. I hope you guys found this walkthrough guide helpful. If you did, make sure to hit the like, subscribe buttons for me down below so I know that you did find this walkthrough guide helpful, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.